Liam Carter is swept off his feet by Vivian Hart, his glamorous sugar mommy, who showers him with lavish gifts and a luxury lifestyle. But beneath her alluring facade lies a dangerous obsession that spirals out of control. As her jealousy and possessiveness grow, Liam finds himself trapped in a nightmare where love turns deadly. In the bustling heart of the city, where the air buzzed with creativity and ambition, the art gallery stood as a beacon of culture. The evening was alive with the sound of clinking glasses and soft laughter as patrons admired the vibrant displays. It was the opening night of a highly anticipated exhibition, drawing a crowd of art enthusiasts, critics, and socialites alike. Vivian Hart, a striking figure in a form-fitting gown that accentuated her curves, glided through the crowd, effortlessly drawing attention. At 48, she was both revered and feared in the art world, a powerful dealer whose keen business acumen had propelled her to the upper echelons of society. Her reputation was as dazzling as her appearance. She was known for spotting talent and transforming it into gold. But behind the glamour lay a more complex story, one of ambition that often bordered on obsession. Amidst the throng of admirers, she spotted a young man, Liam Carter, with tousled hair and wide, hopeful eyes. He stood before a painting, captivated by its chaotic beauty. Fresh out of art school, Liam was filled with aspirations, yet felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him. The vibrant colors swirled on the canvas, mirroring the whirlwind of emotions he experienced, the exhilaration of possibility intertwined with the fear of failure. This night marked a crucial moment, his first opportunity to make connections that could propel his career forward. The contrast between them was stark. Vivian was polished and poised, while Liam was still figuring out his style, his voice as an artist. He had always been drawn to the idea of fame, but now, standing among the elite, he felt small, almost invisible. "Isn't it remarkable?" Vivian asked, her voice smooth as silk as she approached him. "The way it captures the energy of the city?" "It's stunning," Liam replied, a spark of excitement igniting within him. "It feels alive, like it's breathing." Vivian's gaze sharpened, her interest piqued. "You have a keen eye for art," she noted, leaning closer. "Are you an artist?" "Just starting out," he admitted, his voice tinged with pride and humility. "I'm still figuring out my style." "Let me help you," Vivian offered, her smile radiant and inviting. "I can introduce you to influential people in the art world. It could change everything for you." In that moment, Liam felt a thrilling rush, as if the universe had conspired to bring them together. Vivian's charm was intoxicating, and he found himself drawn into her orbit, unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface of her alluring exterior. As the night wore on, Vivian and Liam talked about art, dreams, and the future. She shared stories of her rise in the art world, each tale laced with passion and ambition. Liam listened, hanging on her every word, captivated by her charisma and confidence. He felt as though he were in the presence of a goddess, one who held the keys to the kingdom he so desperately wanted to enter. In that crowded gallery, the world outside faded away. They exchanged numbers, and as Liam walked away that night, he felt a spark of hope igniting within him. He had made a connection, and with it came the tantalizing promise of a brighter future. As the weeks passed, Vivian became a central figure in Liam's life. She enveloped him in a world of luxury and opportunity, showering him with gifts that made his head spin expensive clothes, exquisite dinners, and high-end art supplies he could never have afforded on his own. Each gesture felt like a blessing, yet with every gift came an unspoken expectation that began to weigh heavily on him. Initially, Liam reveled in the attention. He was thrust into a glamorous world that few could access, mingling with influential artists, critics, and collectors. Vivian introduced him to the C.R. Me de la Crère, me of the art scene. And soon, Liam's work began to gain recognition. But as he ascended, He felt Vivian's shadow looming ever larger, her expectations becoming more demanding. Vivian was fiercely protective, often expressing jealousy whenever Liam mentioned friends or past relationships. "You don't need anyone else but me," she would insist, her tone both seductive and commanding. "I can give you everything you desire." At first, Liam brushed aside her controlling nature, rationalizing it as a sign of her passion. She was a woman who had fought hard for her success, and he admired her determination. But as his career began to blossom, he felt increasingly isolated, trapped in a gilded cage of his own making. The turning point came during an exhibition showcasing Liam's work, a night filled with promise and excitement. Friends and family gathered to celebrate, their faces glowing with pride. Vivian stood at his side, her presence a force of nature. As the crowd praised his talent, she smiled brightly, yet a flicker of something darker passed across her features, a jealousy that Liam would later come to recognize. "Are you really going to spend time with them again?" Vivian asked later, her brow furrowing as she watched him prepare for a night out with friends. "They can't offer you what I can." "Vivian, they're my friends," he replied, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "I just want to celebrate with them." "Your friends can wait," she countered, her eyes narrowing dangerously. "You're mine, and I don't want to share you with anyone." The tension simmered, and Liam felt the walls closing in. He had entered a world of success, but it came at the cost of his independence. With every passing day, the affection that had once felt like a blessing morphed into something darker. The bright lights of the art world began to feel like a spotlight, exposing the cracks in their relationship. Vivian's insistence on being the center of his universe began to wear on him. He loved her passion, but the way she clung to him felt suffocating. He often found himself torn between the exhilarating highs of their relationship and the gnawing sense of unease that accompanied it. Each time he tried to assert his independence, Vivian's reactions became more intense, a whirlwind of emotions that left him reeling. In the quiet moments of their life together, he found himself questioning everything. Had he truly entered a partnership, or had he simply become another one of Vivian's possessions? As their relationship deepened, the fine line between love and control blurred, leaving Liam grappling with the realities of obsession. As the relationship progressed, the pressure mounted. The more Liam immersed himself in the art scene, the more Vivian's expectations escalated. One evening, after a particularly successful exhibition, Liam suggested inviting friends over to celebrate. "It would be fun to share this with them," he proposed, hopeful. Vivian's smile faltered, replaced by an expression that sent chills down his spine. "Your friends can wait. They don't understand your world, Liam. You're mine, and I don't want to share you." His heart raced. "Vivian, I just want to celebrate with the people who supported me." "Supported you?" She shot back, her voice rising. "I made you who you are. You're nothing without me." The words cut deep, and Liam felt anger and sadness collide within him. "I need space, Vivian," he said, the resolve in his voice surprising even him. Her expression twisted with rage. "Space? You want to leave? You think anyone else would care for you like I do?" The evening ended in charged silence, the air thick with unspoken fears. As Liam lay in bed that night, he felt the weight of their relationship pressing down on him. He had entered a world of success, but at a steep price his autonomy. In the days that followed, Liam found himself trapped in a cycle of guilt and obligation. He threw himself into his work, pouring his emotions onto the canvas, trying to escape the overwhelming grasp of Vivian's obsession. Yet, every time he looked at the blank canvas, he saw her reflection, a reminder of the love that had become a burden. His friends began to notice the change in him, the way he seemed more distant and distracted. "Liam, are you okay?" Jenna, his college friend, asked during a rare meetup. "You seem different." "I'm fine," he replied, forcing a smile. just busy with work. But Jenna wasn't convinced. You know you can talk to me, right? I'm worried about you. Really? I'm okay, he insisted. But the words felt hollow. Inside, he was wrestling with doubts, fears that gnawed at his sense of self. He wanted to confide in Jenna, but a part of him feared the repercussions. Vivian's jealousy was a force he had learned to navigate, and revealing his struggles might provoke her wrath. As the weeks turned into months, Liam felt the vibrant colors of his life begin to fade. The excitement of the art world was overshadowed by a pervasive darkness. He had once dreamed of success, but now he found himself longing for freedom from the suffocating embrace of a love that had spiraled into something unrecognizable. One fateful night, Liam decided to take a walk to clear his head, hoping the crisp night air would help him process the chaos swirling around him. The city buzzed with life, neon lights reflecting off the pavement like scattered stars. He wandered aimlessly, lost in thought, until he found himself at a small park, a serene oasis amidst the urban frenzy. He sat on a bench, watching the moonlight dance on the leaves, the tranquility offering a brief reprieve from the storm brewing in his mind. But just as he began to find solace, his phone buzzed in his pocket, a message from Vivian. "Where are you?" It read, sharp and demanding. His heart raced. "Just taking a walk," he replied, trying to remain calm. "Come home." "Now," she shot back, her tone leaving no room for argument. Liam sighed, feeling the familiar tension knotting in his stomach. He could almost hear her voice echoing in his mind. How could he have let it come to this? As he made his way back to their apartment, anxiety coursed through him, each step heavy with dread. When he arrived, Vivian was waiting by the door, her expression a mix of worry and anger. "You worried me sick," she said, her voice tight. "You can't just disappear like that." "I needed some air," he replied, keeping his tone steady. "I thought you'd understand." "Understand? You think I don't care about you?" She snapped, her eyes flashing. "You think I want to be left alone while you're out gallivanting?" "It's not gallivanting," he countered, frustration bubbling over. "I just wanted a moment to breathe." In an instant, the atmosphere shifted. Vivian's expression transformed from anger to something darker, more calculating. "Breathe?" she echoed, her voice dripping with disdain. "You think you can just take a break from me? I'm the one who made you. I'm the reason you're here." The air crackled with tension as Liam felt the weight of her words pressing down on him. "I appreciate everything you've done, but I'm not your possession," he said, trying to reclaim his voice. Vivian's eyes darkened, and for a moment, Liam saw the depth of her obsession, a tempest swirling just beneath the surface. "You don't get to say that," she hissed, stepping closer, invading his space. "I've given you everything, and you're going to throw it away. For what? A night out with friends?" "I'm not throwing anything away. I just want to be free to make my own choices," Liam said, his voice shaking with emotion. The conversation escalated, words exchanged like knives, each cut deeper than the last. In that heated moment, the illusion of their love shattered. Liam's heart raced as he realized that he was no longer in a relationship but a battleground, a place where his very identity was under siege. "Maybe you don't love me at all," Vivian spat, her voice a mixture of anger and desperation. "Maybe I should just let you go." The implication hung in the air like a heavy fog. Liam felt his heart drop. "Vivian, please don't say that," he pleaded, desperation creeping into his tone. But her expression hardened. "You think you can just walk away from me? You'll regret it." In that moment, the precarious balance of their relationship tipped into chaos. The evening ended in silence, each retreating to their corners, the air thick with unresolved tension. As Liam lay in bed that night, he realized that the love that had once felt so intoxicating had transformed into something dark and consuming. The breaking point had been reached, and the fight for his independence had only just begun. One fateful night, Liam decided to take a walk to clear his head, hoping the crisp night air would help him process the chaos swirling around him. The city buzzed with life, yet he felt completely alone. He returned home later to find the apartment eerily silent. The absence of Vivian's vibrant energy felt suffocating. "Vivian," he called out, anxiety creeping into his voice. As he stepped further inside, a knot formed in his stomach. He moved toward the bedroom, dread pooling in his chest. There, he found her sprawled on the floor, an empty bottle of pills beside her. Panic gripped him as he rushed to her side, shaking her desperately. "Vivian, wake up." Fumbling for his phone, he called for help, his voice a frantic whisper. "Please, send an ambulance. My girlfriend is unresponsive." Time stretched painfully as he waited, the sirens in the distance sounding like a death knell. The paramedics arrived swiftly, but their grim expressions told him all he needed to know. When they pronounced her dead, Liam felt the ground beneath him crumble. Guilt washed over him, intertwining with grief. He had always believed he could save her, that their love was strong enough to conquer her demons. But now, all he felt was despair. Detective Mark Reyes arrived on the scene, a seasoned investigator with a keen intuition. As he surveyed the opulent penthouse, he noted both its grandeur and the signs of struggle. Something felt off, and he couldn't shake the suspicion that this was more than a tragic accident. "Who found her?" Reyes asked, his voice steady as he turned to Liam, who still looked dazed. "I did," Liam whispered, his heart heavy. "I came home, and she was like that." Reyes studied him, searching for signs of deceit, but finding only shock and sorrow. "Did she have a history of substance abuse?" Liam shook his head, desperation flooding his voice. "I didn't think so. She seemed fine. We had a fight, and then this." As the detective continued to question him, Liam felt a storm brewing within. He wanted to scream that he had tried to save her, that he hadn't known how deeply Vivian was hurting. But the words escaped him, lost in the whirlpool of his emotions. Reyes listened carefully, piecing together the events leading up to Vivian's death. "We'll need to look into her past, see if there were any signs of depression or substance abuse," he said, jotting down notes. The investigation unfolded over the next few days, and Reyes interviewed former lovers, friends, and associates of Vivian. Each conversation revealed a disturbing pattern, an unsettling history of obsession and control that haunted her relationships. One former lover recounted how Vivian's passion morphed into possessiveness. If you tried to leave, she'd lash out. It was as if she couldn't stand the thought of losing anyone she cared about, he said, a haunted look in his eyes. As Reyes gathered evidence, he realized that the narrative surrounding Vivian's life was far more complicated than anyone had imagined. Her charm had been a double-edged sword, drawing people in while suffocating them with her intensity. Liam found himself lost in a haze of grief and confusion. The days following Vivian's death were a blur. He replayed every moment of their relationship in his mind, searching for clues he had missed. The obsession that had once seemed romantic now felt suffocating, like a noose tightening around his neck. Vivian's social media was filled with images of their life together, pictures of lavish parties, intimate dinners, and art exhibitions. But beneath the surface, Liam felt the weight of her control pressing down on him. He scrolled through her posts, a knot forming in his stomach. In each photo, he saw not just love, but ownership, a woman who had claimed him as her own. He reached out to Jenna, a college friend who had always offered a listening ear. They met at a quiet cafe, the air thick with unspoken emotions. "Liam, how are you holding up?" Jenna asked, concern etched on her face. "I don't know," he admitted, his voice shaky. "I keep thinking about what happened. Did I miss the signs? Was I blind to her struggles?" Sometimes it's hard to see the truth when you're caught up in something, Jenna replied gently. Vivian was intense, but you also loved that about her, didn't you? I did, but it became suffocating, he confessed, the tears he had held back now spilling over. I didn't realize how much I was losing myself until it was too late. As they spoke, Jenna shared her own thoughts on the relationship. I always thought there was something off about her, she admitted. She seemed to have this need to control everything and everyone around her. Liam nodded, feeling the weight of her words. It was like being on a roller coaster. The highs were exhilarating, but the lows were terrifying. I just wanted to make her happy. Liam, you can't shoulder that responsibility. No one can be someone's entire world, Jenna said softly. The conversation shifted something inside him, a flicker of understanding igniting. He realized that he had been complicit in the unhealthy dynamics, caught in the illusion of love while losing himself in the process. The investigation soon led to a trial, a public spectacle that drew the attention of the media and the community. The courtroom became a battleground as Liam found himself caught between the love he had for Vivian and the haunting reality of her obsession. The prosecution painted a picture of Vivian as a woman consumed by her desire to control those around her. They argued that her emotional instability had led to her tragic end, urging the jury to see the truth of her actions. This was not a love story. It was a tragedy born of obsession, the prosecutor stated, their voice resonating in the hushed courtroom. Reyes took the stand, recounting his investigation into Vivian's past relationships. There were patterns of controlling behavior, he explained. Vivian's charm often masked a deeper need for possession. Her obsession with Liam became a dangerous game. Liam sat in silence, his heart heavy as he listened. He felt like a ghost in his own life, watching the events unfold without the power to intervene. When he took the stand, he struggled to find his voice. I loved her, he began, but the words felt hollow against the backdrop of the accusations. Did you ever feel threatened by her behavior? The prosecutor pressed. Liam hesitated, searching for the right words. It wasn't always threatening. At first, it felt like love, but then it became something else. I started to feel trapped. The jury listened intently, and he felt the weight of their scrutiny. He recounted the moments of passion mixed with jealousy, the way Vivian's affection turned possessive, suffocating. I didn't want to hurt her, but I couldn't breathe, he admitted, his voice trembling. In closing arguments, the prosecution urged the jury to see the truth of Vivian's actions. She created a toxic environment, and it cost Liam dearly, they argued. This wasn't just a tragic accident. It was a consequence of her obsession. The jury deliberated, the tension in the room palpable. When the verdict was finally read, not guilty of manslaughter, Liam felt a surge of emotions crash over him. He wanted to scream, to cry, to release the pain that had been building within him. Instead, he sat frozen. In the aftermath of the trial, the media frenzy escalated. Articles poured in, sensationalizing the story as Sugar Mommy's fatal obsession. Some sympathized with Liam, while others vilified Vivian, painting her as a tragic figure caught in her own web. Reyes found himself at the center of discussions about emotional abuse and unhealthy relationships. Fueled by a desire to raise awareness, he began organizing community seminars focused on the signs of control and obsession. We need to shine a light on these dynamics, he urged during one session. Love should never feel like a prison. As he shared Liam's story, he watched as the audience shifted in their seats, many nodding in understanding. The pain and trauma resonated with others, and Reyes felt a surge of hope. By illuminating the complexities of relationships, they could prevent future tragedies. Meanwhile, Liam grappled with the aftermath of the trial. He had lost the love of his life, yet felt compelled to honor her memory. He began painting again, using the canvas as a form of therapy. Each stroke became an exploration of grief, obsession, and the search for freedom. In one piece, he depicted a cage, its bars twisted and warped, the figure inside reaching for the sky. The image spoke to his soul, a manifestation of the struggle between desire and entrapment. He displayed it at a local gallery, hoping to evoke conversation and understanding around the themes of control and emotional turmoil. Months passed, but Reyes couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Vivian's story. Determined to uncover the truth, he delved deeper into her past, interviewing former colleagues, friends, and family. Each conversation painted a complex portrait of a woman driven by ambition but haunted by insecurities. One former friend revealed, Vivian always had to be the center of attention. If she felt threatened, she'd do anything to regain control. It was like watching a storm brewing. Reyes learned of Vivian's early years, how she had clawed her way up from a modest background. The more he uncovered, the clearer it became that her relationships with younger men were about more than love. They were about control, an attempt to reclaim power. In one particularly revealing interview, a former lover recounted their turbulent relationship. Vivian was passionate, but if she felt I was drifting, she'd become possessive, almost paranoid. It was exhilarating at first, but eventually it became unbearable. The patterns of obsession and control had manifested throughout Vivian's life, and it became crucial to shine a light on those dynamics. Reyes felt compelled to share these findings, knowing they could help others recognize the signs before it was too late. As Reyes continued his investigation, he sought out Jenna once more, intrigued by her insights into Liam's experiences. They met at the same cafe where they had first discussed Vivian. "I've been thinking about Liam," she said, her brow furrowed. "He's been through so much. I can't imagine how he's coping." "Liam is resilient, but he carries a heavy burden," Reyes replied. "His story can help others understand the dangers of obsession." "Do you think he'll ever feel free again?" Jenna asked, concern lacing her voice. "I hope so," Reyes said thoughtfully, "but it takes time. Healing isn't linear, especially after such a traumatic experience." As they spoke, Reyes felt a sense of urgency. He envisioned creating a community forum where individuals could share their experiences and find support. "We need to encourage open dialogue," he insisted. "By sharing our stories, we can break the cycle of silence that often surrounds these issues." Together, they began organizing workshops focused on emotional health and healthy relationships. They invited local experts to speak, providing tools for recognition and recovery. The response from the community was overwhelming, a testament to the shared struggle many faced. As the workshops gained momentum, Reyes felt a surge of purpose. He knew that the tragic story of Liam and Vivian could serve as a catalyst for change. One evening, as he prepared for another workshop, he received an unexpected message from Liam's family. They wanted to honor their son's memory by creating a scholarship fund for aspiring artists in his name. The fund would support young talents seeking to break into the art world, providing them with resources and opportunities that Liam had once dreamed of. Reyes attended the scholarship launch, surrounded by people who had loved and supported Liam. The atmosphere was filled with warmth and remembrance, a celebration of a life cut short but not forgotten. As he spoke to the audience, Reyes felt a renewed sense of hope. "Liam's story is one of both talent and tragedy," he began. "Through this scholarship, we can ensure that his legacy lives on, helping others find their voice in the world of art." The scholarship flourished, providing opportunities for young artists to showcase their work and build connections in the industry. Each recipient carried a piece of Liam's spirit with them, a reminder that love and art could coexist, even in the face of darkness. As the sun set over the city, Reyes stood in front of an art gallery showcasing the first round of scholarship recipients. Each piece told a story, echoing the struggles and triumphs of young artists finding their voice. In the center of the gallery stood a large portrait of Liam, painted by one of the scholarship winners. It captured his essence, a vibrant, creative spirit that refused to be extinguished. Reyes felt tears prick at his eyes as he reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. Liam had transformed his pain into art, using it as a vessel for healing. And through the scholarship, his story continued to inspire others, shedding light on the complexities of love, obsession, and the need for connection. As the evening unfolded, Reyes mingled with the crowd, sharing stories of resilience and creativity. He knew that the fight against obsession and control was far from over, but for the first time, he felt a sense of unity among those who had been touched by Liam's life. In the vibrant city, where the pulse of life thrummed continuously, Liam's spirit lived on an inspiration to all who dared to dream, to love freely, and to break the chains of obsession that threatened to bind them. The community, once marred by tragedy, had come together to reclaim their narratives, each brushstroke a testament to survival and strength. And as the night wore on, Reyes looked out at the crowd, knowing that healing was possible. Together, they could create a world where love was a sanctuary, not a prison, a world where every heartbeat resonated with hope and possibility.